I traveled around in my Minecraft world and made a list of all the interesting structures in the game. So let's dive straight into the first one. And that's the Ocean Monument. It's a rare underwater structure that is made out of prismarine blocks and lit by sea lanterns. The monument is a home to guardians and elder guardians. Even though the guardians in there are very aggressive, the monument also holds some valuable loot. To be more exact, gold blocks and sponges. So this is definitely worth a visit. Let's keep exploring the ocean. Next up we have the ocean ruins. These are small underwater structures made of stone bricks or sandstone. When generated, they spawn drowned, so be careful when diving to explore them. Most of the time the ocean ruins also have a loot chest which can contain different treasures. Moving into the jungle now, here we have the jungle temple. There is a 75% chance that the jungle will be generated with the temple. Moving inside the temple, and we have 3 floors to explore. The top 2 floors are pretty boring, but the bottom one has some interesting features. For example, there's a lever puzzle in the temple. Guessing the correct code will open up a room with a chest in it. There's also another loot chest that is protected by a couple of traps, so keep that in mind when exploring the jungle temples. Moving on to the desert, where another temple is located, the Desert Temple. Each pyramid has a hidden chamber containing loot that is protected by a TNT trap, so make sure not to step on the pressure plate or the chest will be blown up. Loot wise, the Desert Pyramid is pretty useful. The chest can contain enchanted books, emeralds or even enchanted golden apples. A pretty good spot to get some useful loot. Moving on with the desert theme, we have the desert wells. Each chunk has a 1 in 1000 chance to spawn with the well. But when the only use for them is to get a few buckets of water, I hardly find this structure useful. A Woodland Mansion is a massive structure found in the dark forests, often far away from the world spawn. The mansion is a home for the evokers and the vindicators, and is one of the few places where the totem of undying can be obtained, aside from raids. The mansion has 3 floors, and on each floor there are many different types of rooms to explore, and even some secret rooms that you should definitely check out. The mansion typically has 5 to 10 chests with pretty good loot in them. It is also the rarest structure in the game, even rarer than the Mushroom Islands. So consider yourself very lucky if you happen to find one randomly. Next up, let's take a look at the abandoned mineshafts. These are underground structures that have tunnels supported by wooden beams, and with broken rail systems on which minecart with chests can generate. The mineshafts also often generate with a cave spider spawner that is surrounded by cobweb, a good spot to build your cave spider farm for example. Let's take a look at strongholds now. Each world can have up to 128 strongholds. They are maze-like structures containing many rooms, including one with an end portal frame. Strongholds can be located by using Eyes of Ender. This is also the only place where a player can find an end portal to enter the end. Strongholds have many different rooms and can get confusing quickly, but remember that the only rooms really worth exploring are the libraries. They can have up to 2 chests with pretty good loot in them, usually enchanted books and so on. Moving on with the underground stuff, we have a dungeon. This is a small cobblestone room containing a zombie, skeleton or a spider spawner, as well up to 2 loot chests. They are typically connected to underground caves, but may generate above ground or even be connected with mineshafts or strongholds. The dungeons are an ideal spot to build your spawner XP farms, and if you want to do so, then make sure to check out our tutorials on how to build them. Now something new that was added quite recently, an amethyst geode. It's a large hollow rock composed of smooth basalt and calcite with an inner layer of amethyst blocks. Amethyst geodes generate between Y level 0 and Y level 70. This is also the only place where budding amethyst and amethyst blocks can be found. Fossil is a rare skeletal structure composed of bone blocks and coal ores. Fossils spawn between Y level 40 and Y level 49 in the deserts and swamps. Here's also a quick look at all the fossil variants possible. That one fossil looking kinda sus though. Anyway, each chunk has a 1 in 64 chance of being generated with a fossil, so a pretty rare and cool structure. Moving into the Nether now. A Nether Fortress is a large structure containing of bridges, corridors and towers. Nether Fortresses can generate in any Nether biome. It's the only place where you can find the blaze spawners and the wither skeletons. The fortresses are often big, so there is a lot to explore. They also have lots of chests with good loot, a perfect place to build a blaze farm or find some awesome loot. Next up we have the large castle-like structures called Bastion Remnants. The structure also generates in the Nether. This is a home to the piglins and piglin broods. The Bastion Remnant is the only place where you can find a magma cube spawner. It is located in the middle at the bottom of the treasure room. The treasure room also has gold blocks in the middle and some chests with pretty good loot in them. Make sure to grab that. Ruined Portal is a broken nether portal made of various types of stones or blackstone. They can generate in the overworld or the nether in all kinds of sizes and positions. It has a netherrack platform as well as a loot chest and a few gold blocks. Just add some blocks to the portal and you can enter the nether. Moving back to the overworld, we have a Pillager Outpost. This is a group of structures inhabited by pillagers. It consists of tents, targets, log piles, cages and the main tower. The top level on the main tower also has a loot chest. The cages can sometimes spawn with iron golems in them, so make sure to free them if you happen to see one. Taking a look at igloos now. They are a small structure found in the snowy biomes and are mostly made out of snow. What you might not know is that half of the igloos there's actually a secret basement under them. So if you happen to find one, go and check it out if you also got lucky with the basement. The shipwrecks are, as you can probably tell by the name, structures that resemble sunken ships. They can have up to 3 treasure chests and look pretty cool in my opinion. Let's take a look at the end now. Here we can find the end cities. They are the castle-like structures that are inhabited by shulkers and hold probably the most valuable loot in the game. There are different size rooms in the city, but only some of them are worth exploring. We have also covered the end cities in this video, so make sure to check it out if you wanna know more. Going not too far, we can find the end ships. It's relatively small, but holds even more valuable loot than the city itself. There are the brewing stands, chests, and most importantly, elytras in them. So the end ships are probably the most valuable structures to loot in the game. Back in the overworld, we have witch huts. They are a small generated structure that have the ability to spawn witches. They are mostly used to create witch farms, but otherwise are pretty useless. Moving into the freezing ocean, we have an iceberg. It's one of the few places where you can find naturally generated blue ice, so digging this out can be useful. The last structure I would like to show is this subscribe button. It can be clicked and I will thank you for doing it. Until next time, see ya!